My ex-fiancée told me I'm engaged to my ex now while still wearing my ring, until I shattered her delusions, and cops dragged her off my porch. I'm Nolan, 31, male, union electrician. I've been busting my ass for over a decade, and earlier this year I finally bought myself a house. Not an apartment, not a rental, not my mom's basement with motivational posters. An actual house. It was supposed to be the place Chloe and I started our life together after marriage. I picked it up last year, fixed it up every weekend, and pictured her filling it with throw pillows and candles I'd pretend to hate. Spoiler, she never paid a cent toward it. The house is mine, in my name, bought with my overtime shifts and sore back. Keep that detail in your head because it's going to matter later. Chloe and I had been together 4 years. She's a physical therapist, works at one of those sports medicine places downtown where they tape up college, athletes, and wannabe marathon runners. She loved telling people she was engaged to an electrician with a house. It made her sound like she'd scored stability. We got engaged in February. Nothing flashy, I'm not the guy dropping 3 paychecks on a rock, but I saved for months to get her a decent ring, 4 months of overtime crawling through dusty ceilings and sweating in boiler rooms just to see that stupid look of excitement when I popped the question. She said yes, she cried, she FaceTimed her mom, her dad patted me on the back like I'd passed some exam. Everything seemed locked in. Fast forward to last Tuesday night. Long day on a commercial site. I get home and crash on the couch to watch the game. Chloe walks in late, acting jittery like she just got called to the principal's office. I thought maybe she got a parking ticket. Instead, she sits down on the edge of the couch like she's about to confess to murder and says, "We need to talk." I replied, still chewing, "That's never good." She fidgeted, stared at her lap, finally said, "I ran into Justin a few weeks ago. Now Justin is her high school ex, the guy with the dirt bike and bad hair I vaguely remembered from old stories. I figured he peaked at 17 and spent his adult years working at AutoZone." I muted the TV, that pit in my stomach dropped, and I asked, "Chloe, what are you telling me?" She blurted it out. "He proposed 3 days ago, and I said yes." I swear for a second I thought she'd mispronounced something, like she meant I said no or I miss you, but no. She doubled down, staring at me with watery eyes like she expected me to clap. And to really twist the knife, I could see my ring still shining on her finger while she announced she was now engaged to another dude. "You said yes." My voice didn't even sound like mine. "It just happened. We have history, Nolan. It felt like fate," she said, looking at me like she'd just announced she won the lottery. I looked at her hand and said, "Okay, then take off my ring." She blinked. "What?" I repeated, "Take off my ring." She leaned back like I might slap it off her finger. "Nolan, wait, let me explain." "Explain what?" "That you've been cheating on me and now you're engaged to him. What's left to explain?" I asked, my voice louder than I intended. "I wasn't cheating," she insisted. "We were just talking, until he pulled out a ring, until you decided destiny trumps loyalty." She started crying like she was the victim. I held out my hand and said, "Jesus, Chloe, the ring." Her hand shook, but she twisted it off and handed it over. I shoved it in my pocket. "I need you to pack a bag and get out tonight. I'll go for a drive. You've got an hour. When I come back, you're gone." "No, please, can't we just talk about this?" she begged. "Talk about what?" "You already made your choice. Go be with your destiny or whatever fairy tale nonsense you think this is," I said, grabbed my keys, and left. By the time I got back, the house was quiet. No shoes by the door, no Chloe perfume in the hallway. Just me standing in the house I bought, realizing I'd been demoted from future husband to practice run because Justin suddenly remembered her name. That was the night it all blew up. If you're expecting me to say I sat there crying into a pillow, nah, I'm not wired that way. Don't get me wrong, it hit me hard. 4 years wasted, 4 months of overtime for a ring she wore into another man's proposal. But sitting there in silence, I knew one thing. She was gone, and I wasn't about to chase. Looking back, maybe I should have noticed the cheating sooner, but I was busting my ass at work, pulling doubles, crawling through attics, wiring job sites until my hands cramped. All so we could have the wedding she wanted and a house that actually felt like ours. She took that for granted. I wasn't ignoring her. I was just too busy building the life she claimed she wanted. Anyways, I kept the house, I kept the ring, and I kept my dignity. She kept her delusions. What I didn't know yet was how far those delusions were going to stretch and just how insane her destiny story was about to get. The night she left, I figured the drama was done. She got her fairy tale with Justin. I got my ring back and the house stayed mine. End of story, right? Wrong. The next morning, my phone was already buzzing like a fire alarm. First one was her mom. A long text about how I should be happy for Chloe because real love always finds a way and God's plan mentioned 3 times. Like the man upstairs personally scheduled Chloe to cheat on me. Then her dad called, leaving a voicemail telling me I was being immature for asking for the ring back and that I should respect her choice. The power of first love. Immature? I'm the one who worked 4 months of overtime for a ring she wore straight into another guy's. Proposal. If that's immature, sign me up. I shot back one reply before I blocked them all. Funny how destiny shows up the minute I already paid for her ring. Guess God's plan includes me working weekends so Justin doesn't have to. Never heard back after that, probably still quoting it at the dinner table. Chloe tried a couple of "can we talk" messages that I ignored. She didn't get the hint until I blocked her number. That's when she started using random ones. I'll get to that later. That first week alone was weird. Walking into the bedroom and seeing her side of the closet empty hit different. But I told myself it was my house long before it was ours. She just got to enjoy the ride until she bailed. So I sat on my couch, looked around at the place I built, and told myself, she's gone. This place stays mine. Of course, work didn't care about my love life. I still had to drag myself onto a job site at 6 in the morning. I must have looked like hell because my foreman asked if I was sick during the safety meeting. I shrugged it off. What was I going to say? Nah, man. My fiancée upgraded to her high school sweetheart, so I'm just running on caffeine and sarcasm now? Didn't exactly fit the vibe. The thing is, when you're busy wiring a panel or dragging conduit through a crawl space, you don't have time to sit around crying. That's the one perk of being in the trades. The work doesn't care if you're heartbroken. Either you wire it right or you fry yourself. Kind of sharpens your focus. But even while I kept my head down, Chloe's family wouldn't stop. They had this united front, all pushing the same "this is fate" speech like it was rehearsed. Her aunt even left me a Facebook message saying she hoped I'd find peace with Chloe's decision. Find peace, lady. She didn't move to a monastery. She ditched me for a guy who peaked when he learned to drive stick. I finally nuked all of them from my phone and socials. One clean sweep block list full. Peace restored. The only person I let in on the whole mess was my sister Mia. She's blunt, doesn't sugarcoat, and told me straight. You did the right thing. Don't ever let her crawl back in, she'll try. At the time, I thought Mia was exaggerating. I figured once Chloe had Justin's ring on her finger, she'd disappear into that world and I'd never hear from her again. Spoiler, Mia was right. The first week after Chloe left, I made myself a routine. Work, gym, crash. Keep it simple. No scrolling through her socials. Just eat, lift, wire, repeat. And every night when I walked into that house, I reminded myself it was mine. She might have sat on Pinterest picking out color swatches, but she never paid a bill. Still, there was this nagging thought. How long had she been planning this? She swore they only started talking in March, but March was literally 1 month after she said yes to me, which means while I was out busting my ass pulling double shifts, she was sipping lattes with her ex, convincing herself that dumping me was meant to be. If I'd known what was coming next, I'd have laughed in her face right then, but back then I thought the storm was over. Chloe was with her destiny and I had my house, my tools, and my job. What I didn't realize was that the real storm hadn't even started yet, because the next stunt she pulled was when I realized I wasn't just dealing with a cheater. I was dealing with someone completely detached from reality. About a week after I blocked Chloe and her entire family, I thought I had peace. No buzzing phone, no guilt texts, just me, my house, and the hum of the fridge. Then one Saturday morning, right as I'm halfway through a coffee, there's pounding at my door. Not a polite knock, full-on police raid energy. I open the door, and who's standing there? Chloe, her mom, her dad, like some kind of twisted welcome wagon. Chloe's got that fake, calm smile plastered on her face, the one she used to pull when she thought she could talk her way out of anything. Her mom's holding a binder. Her dad's got his arms crossed like he's my landlord. "Good morning, Nolan," her mom says all sweet. "We need to have a conversation about the house." I just laughed. "The house? You mean my house?" Chloe steps forward like she's about to negotiate a hostage deal. "Technically, we picked this house together. I helped choose it, so I should have some rights here." I almost spit my coffee. "You picked it, Chloe. I toured 15 places with you. The only thing you contributed was saying this one has better lighting for selfies." Her mom opens the binder. I swear she had actual printouts of Zillow pages, and says, "Well, Nolan, you two were engaged. That means she was already invested. Emotionally and legally, that matters." I nearly laughed coffee through my nose. Engagement isn't a legal contract, it's just a fancy promise ring. Later, when I called my lawyer buddy, he confirmed it straight. Engagement does not equal community property. She's got nothing. Chloe, crossing her arms, I picked this house with you, that counts for something. I stepped aside, pointed to the living room. Oh, in that case I guess the realtor owns half too. She picked the paint color. Her dad finally speaks up, puffing out his chest like he's about to intimidate me. Son, you need to do the right thing here. Chloe spent 4 years of her life with you, that entitles her to something. Yeah, I said. She got something. 4 years of me working overtime to pay for rings and bills while she texted Justin behind my back. That's her cut. The silence after that was golden. Chloe's face turned red like she wasn't expecting me to actually call it what it was. Then she pulls the victim card. You don't understand, Nolan. This was supposed to be our forever home. You can't just erase me from it. Watch me, I said, and shut the door in their faces. They stood out there for a good 5 minutes ringing the doorbell and calling my name. I went back to sipping coffee. Eventually, I peeked out the window and saw them walking back to their car, Chloe still ranting at her parents. That was the moment it hit me. I wasn't just dealing with a breakup. I was dealing with someone who truly thought picking curtains equaled paying a mortgage. She'd convinced herself she was owed a piece of my house just because she sat in the passenger seat when I signed the papers. So, I did what any guy with a working brain would do. I doubled down. If she was going to come after my stuff, I'd make sure everything was locked down tight. That afternoon, I called my buddy who's a real estate lawyer. He laughed when I told him the story, but said I did the right thing blocking them. She doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. Don't give her an inch or she'll take a mile, he warned. Fine by me. Chloe was out of my house, out of my life, and now officially out of my patience. I didn't let it eat me up, though. Instead, I threw myself into projects. First thing I did was pawn that ring. Didn't get back what I paid. No surprise there. But it was enough to grab some upgrades I'd been eyeing. New multimeter, set of conduit benders, some heavy-duty gear for the shop. If I was going to rebuild, I'd rebuild with tools, not tears. I also started spending more time at the gym. Lifting had always been part of my routine, but now it became non-negotiable. Deadlifts, squats, bench, repeat. Every rep was like slamming the door on Chloe's nonsense. By the second week, guys at the gym were joking I'd gone full revenge body mode. And when I wasn't at the gym or the job site, I was in the garage. A buddy of mine had an old motorcycle collecting dust and I bought it off him cheap. Every weekend I'd strip it down, polish parts, order replacements. There's something satisfying about taking something broken piece by piece and turning it into something stronger, kind of poetic, but not in the way Chloe's family would use it. Funny thing. Once word got around about Chloe's little house stunt, people started quietly reaching out. Mutual friends texting, dude, she's lost it. Even my foreman pulled me aside at work one day and said, heard about your ex, good on you for standing your ground. So yeah, Chloe thought she could roll up with her parents and claim half my house. Instead, she just reminded everyone how entitled and clueless she really was. And me? I was in my house with my tools, my projects, my gym routine. Life was quiet, structured, mine. At least until Chloe decided her next genius move was to make me part of her new wedding plans. I'd been enjoying a stretch of peace. Work was steady. The gym was routine. My motorcycle project was starting to look like an actual bike instead of a pile of metal. Then my phone buzzes one evening from an unknown number. I figured it was spam, opened it anyway, and there it is. Hey Nolan, it's Chloe. I need your help. Yeah, because nothing screams healthy ex-fiancé relationship like her hitting me up from burner numbers. I ignored it. 5 minutes later, another text. Justin and I are about to lose our wedding venue deposit. Could you spot us a few thousand? You're so responsible, I know you'll understand. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped the phone. She wanted me, the guy she ditched for her high school ex, to fund their wedding. Like quitting a job and then asking your old boss for a raise. I screenshot it and sent it to Mia just so someone else could confirm I wasn't hallucinating. Her response, she's gone full delusional, block her. But before I could, another text landed also. Could you put your name on a rental agreement for the lighting setup? You've got great credit and industry contacts, and Justin's credit isn't great. That one nearly had me in tears laughing. The same guy who rescued her was broke and had garbage credit, so naturally she thought her ex-fiancé should co-sign. Unreal. I didn't answer, blocked that number. 2 days later, another burner. I know you're mad, but you're a good guy, Nolan. Don't you want to be part of something beautiful? Beautiful. Lady, you're asking me to bankroll the circus you left me for. The audacity was Olympic level. And it kept coming. Venue deposit one day, catering the next, rental hookups after that. Always framed like she was doing me a favor by including me. Like I should feel honored to help the guy who stole her playhouse husband at my expense. I ignored most of it, but then came the stunt that still makes my blood boil. It was a Tuesday on site, long day pulling wire through concrete walls, sweat dripping, crew tired. I'm standing with my guys near the truck when who rolls up? Chloe in heels on an active construction site. My foreman's face looked like Christmas morning. He knew drama when he saw it. The gate was open for vendors, so she slipped right in and strutted up like she was there to drop off lunch. "Nolan, we need to talk," she announced. I glanced around at my crew, all trying not to grin. "Talk? You're standing on rebar and stilettos. You need to leave before you break your ankle." "I'm serious," she said, ignoring the looks. "Justin and I can't get approved for our venue contract without your help. Just sign it, and you'll never hear from me again." That was it. The moment I realized she'd completely lost the plot. She really thought I'd jeopardize my credit, my name, and my sanity just to make sure her dream wedding happened, the same wedding that replaced me. I leaned against the truck, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "Chloe, let me make this simple. The only paperwork I'm signing with your name on it is a restraining order if you keep showing up. Now leave before you embarrass yourself more than you already have." The crew lost it. I walked off, and she stood there frozen for a second before stomping back to her car. My foreman gave me a pat on the shoulder and said, "Good answer." That night, Mia and I sat down and drafted one final message: professional, firm, zero wiggle room. I sent it to the latest burner number she'd used. "I will not be providing financial assistance or professional services for your wedding. Do not contact me again by any method. If you continue, I will take legal action. I wish you well, but we are done." Then I blocked that number too. She still tried for a while. More burners, more please just this one thing messages. But I kept every single one, screenshots, logs, dates. If she wanted to escalate, I was ready. My lawyer buddy laughed when I told him, "Man, this is textbook entitlement. She's treating you like a backup plan with a credit card." Exactly, except I wasn't anyone's backup and definitely not her ATM. From that point on, I wasn't stressed. Annoyed, sure, but stressed, nah. Because every time she tried to drag me back into her circus, she just made me look smarter for leaving it. And while she was burning through phone numbers, I was stacking hours at work, stacking weight at the gym, and stacking progress on that motorcycle. My life was moving forward. Hers was circling the drain, and she didn't even see it yet. What I didn't know then was that her little destiny with Justin Wojcicki was already starting to crack. And when it finally collapsed, she wasn't just going to come crawling back. She was going to sprint. Thing is, while her destiny was busy crumbling, my life was leveling up. The hospital project I'd been grinding on wrapped up strong, and my foreman pulled me aside. "Nolan, you've been holding this crew together. Time for you to lead one." Just like that, I was promoted to run point on another big renovation. Better pay, more responsibility, and a crew that actually respected me. On top of that, the gym became my second home. I wasn't just moving weight, I was moving forward. Guys started noticing, "Damn, man, you on some revenge arc?" One joked, I just smirked. Call it what you want, but every deadlift was proof I wasn't sitting at home sulking. And then there was the garage. The bike I'd bought off my buddy was starting to take shape. Frame sanded, chrome polished, engine cleaned up. Every Saturday morning, neighbors would wander over, curious about the noise, and leave impressed at how it was coming together. That bike was therapy in the form of grease and busted knuckles. Life didn't stop there. Through a mutual at the gym, I got introduced to Sawyer. She wasn't some rebound, just a solid person. We grabbed coffee after a workout one Saturday, and it felt easy. No drama, no destiny speeches, just conversation about work, hobbies, and the dumb stuff people say when they think they're deep. We left it at that, casual, but it felt like a reminder that not every woman was Chloe. So yeah, while Chloe was busy texting me from burners like I was her unpaid wedding planner, I was stacking wins. Then came the cookout. A mutual friend from the union invited me over for a backyard hang, food, drinks, cornhole, the usual. I show up, plate of ribs in one hand, and who's sitting on a lawn chair like she owns the place? Chloe, and of course Justin's glued to her side. Justin gives me that smug nod like he's won something. Chloe pretends not to notice me, then does the fake wave, "Oh hey Nolan." I keep it casual, Chloe, Justin. For a while I mind my own business, talking shop with the guys, but I can feel her watching me. Eventually, Justin, clearly wanting to flex, wanders over with her in tow. "Didn't expect to see you here," he says, puffing out his chest. "Yeah, I almost didn't come," I reply, taking a slow sip of my drink. Good thing I did, always entertaining to see where my overtime pay went. His face twitches, Chloe glares, but Justin pushes through. "We're doing great. Big plans ahead." That's when I drop it, calm, steady, no raising my voice. "Funny, because if you were doing so great, Chloe wouldn't have had to come crawling back to me asking for money. Guess you can't provide for her if she's begging her ex-fiancé to bail out your wedding." The group around us went dead silent. I swear you could have heard a fly land on the grill. Justin's smirk cracked, Chloe's jaw dropped, and I just kept chewing on a rib like nothing happened. Justin stammered something about lies and taken out of context, but I wasn't finished. I leaned in a little, real casual. Oh, and Justin, did she ever mention that when she said yes to your proposal she was still wearing my ring? You're welcome for the warm-up round. That one landed like a nuke. A couple of guys near us actually choked on their drinks. Chloe turned bright red. Justin's neck went stiff, and the silence stretched long enough for everyone to get the picture. Chloe tried to recover, muttering, "That's private, Nolan." "Not when you paraded around like Destiny," I said. "You two wanted an audience. Now you've got one." They bailed not long after, storming out like they had somewhere better to be. The vibe around the yard shifted back to normal, but people kept sneaking glances at me, giving little nods of approval. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. Sometimes the truth humiliates better than any insult. On the way out, my buddy clapped me on the back. "That was savage, man. You handled it perfect." A couple of months rolled by after that cookout, and honestly, life settled into a groove. Work, gym, weekends on the bike. Same loop, just cleaner without the drama. I sat in my garage tightening bolts on the bike, grease on my hands, and thought about it. For months, I'd been the guy they called immature for walking away, the one Chloe's family painted as bitter. But standing there at that cookout, calmly dropping facts while Justin and Chloe squirmed, I realized I didn't need to defend myself. They humiliated themselves just by being who they were, and sure enough, it wasn't long after that the cracks in their perfect story turned into craters. Justin wasn't just broke, he was also busy cheating on her with anything that moved, and that's when Chloe stopped pretending I was irrelevant and started chasing me like I was the last lifeboat on the Titanic. Word spread fast. Justin, her soulmate, her destiny, the guy who was supposedly God's gift to her, couldn't keep it in his pants. Not just once, either. Multiple women. Some casual hookups, some repeat flings. He wasn't even smart about it. Hotel receipts left out, texts on his phone, photos floating around. One of the women even reached out to Chloe directly and sent her everything. The meltdown was instant. Mutual friends who live on her street said they heard yelling, glass breaking, and eventually, the cops got called because things got physical. Justin left her a bruise on her arm and a police report in her name. Destiny, huh? I should have felt smug. I should have been celebrating that the guy she threw me away for turned out to be trash. But instead, I just shook my head. I wasn't surprised. You don't steal someone's fiancé and then magically turn into husband material. But Chloe wasn't just humiliated. She was desperate, and desperation made her do what she swore she'd never do, come running back to me. Thing about blocking someone doesn't stop voicemails. They just pile up in a separate inbox, and Chloe kept finding new numbers to call from anyway. First it was voicemails. Long rambling ones. "I'm so sorry, Nolan. I didn't realize what I had with you. Justin showed me how stable and genuine you are by contrast, like it was some kind of compliment that her cheating ex made me look good." Then came the guilt trip angle. "I know you're kind and wouldn't let me struggle. You've always been my safe place." Translation: Justin's broke and violent, and she wanted to slide back into the guy who actually pays bills. Some days she'd leave 2 or 3 messages in a row. Apologetic in one, angry in the next, sobbing in the third, always, during work hours like she timed it for when I couldn't answer. I ignored every single one, but I saved them. Dates, times, transcripts. Mia told me to keep records and I listened. Then she switched strategies. Mutual friends started dropping hints. "Hey man, Chloe's really hurting. Maybe you should just talk to her." I told them straight, she had 4 years to talk. She picked Justin. End of story. Word must have gotten back to her because the next day another voicemail came through, this time with her whining about me being cold and heartless. Finally, it escalated to her showing up in person. It was a Saturday morning. Sawyer and I were having coffee on my balcony. She wasn't my girlfriend yet, but we'd been hanging out more. Cool, easy vibe. She didn't pry into my mess, didn't try to fix me, just listened when I needed to vent and laughed when I was sarcastic. There's a knock at the door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I open it, and there's Chloe looking like she hadn't slept in a week. Eyes swollen, hair a mess, clutching her phone like a lifeline. She jumps right in. "Nolan, I made a mistake. The biggest mistake of my life. Please just give me 5 minutes. We can work through this." I leaned on the doorframe, calm as ever. "Chloe, I'm glad you're safe. I hope you're getting help for what Justin did to you, but we're done. That ended the night you told me you were engaged to him." She starts crying, shaking her head. "No, please just talk to me. We built so much together. Don't throw it away for someone you barely know." That's when Sawyer walked up behind me. Didn't say a word, just stood there, hand on my shoulder, quiet but steady. Chloe's eyes flicked to her, then back to me, and I saw it click in her brain. I wasn't alone anymore. I wasn't sitting in the dark replaying what she did. I was moving forward. I looked Chloe in the eye. You don't miss me. You miss the backup plan. You miss the guy who worked overtime to pay for everything, who never cheated, who never laid a hand on you. You thought you could upgrade and it blew up. That's not love. That's desperation. And I'm not your safety net. Her face twisted. You're really going to throw away 4 years for her? Nodding toward Sawyer like she was competition. I shook my head. No, Chloe, you threw away 4 years for Justin. I'm just refusing to recycle your mistakes. I closed the door. Instead of leaving, she completely lost it, banging on the door with both fists, screaming my name like I was supposed to suddenly forget everything, then hitting the windows, rattling them so hard I thought she'd break the glass. Sawyer just raised an eyebrow and sipped her coffee while I stayed calm. I pulled out my phone, dialed the cops, and said, "Yeah, my ex-fiancée is outside having a full breakdown, threatening my property. Can you send someone to get her off my porch?" 10 minutes later, the flashing lights rolled up. Chloe was still pacing and pounding like persistence would win me over. The officers got her under control quick, walked her to the cruiser while she kept yelling about how I was throwing away destiny. I just stood there, arms crossed, watching them drive her off like she was a problem finally being hauled to the dump. Sawyer slid the sugar toward me and said deadpan, "So, bike engine ready to reinstall this weekend?" That's when it really hit me. I didn't just escape a bad relationship. I escaped a delusional circus, and I wasn't stepping back into the tent no matter how many clowns showed up at my door. After the cops escorted her off my porch that day, I figured that was the end. But with Chloe, the end was never the end. She went quiet for a few weeks. Then one Saturday morning, I heard another knock at the door. This time, it wasn't just Chloe. She brought backup. Standing there with her was her mom, looking like she'd rehearsed something in the mirror 10 times before showing up. Her mom started first. "Nolan, we've done a lot of soul searching. Chloe has been in therapy. She's learning from her mistakes, and she has something important she wants to tell you." Chloe stepped forward, hands clasped like she was giving a presentation. I realized I was checked out of Justin long before he cheated. I see now what I threw away. I don't expect us to pick up where we left off, but maybe coffee, just a chance to see if anything's still there. I leaned against the frame, arms crossed. "Chloe, let's be honest. You didn't realize I was special, you realized. Justin was a broke cheater. There's a difference." Her mom jumped in defensive. "That's not fair. She's grown, people make mistakes, but people can change." "Yeah," I said, "people do change. I changed. I learned I deserve someone who chooses me first, not as a safe option when plan A blows up." Chloe's eyes welled up. "So that's it. 4 years mean nothing?" "They meant something then," I said, "but they ended the night you told me you were engaged to another man. That was your choice. You burned the bridge. I'm not rebuilding it." I closed the door. This time I expected her to leave, but I underestimated the circus act. Later that evening, Sawyer and I came back from grabbing groceries and found flowers and a handwritten note propped against my front door. The note said, "I'll wait for you. True love never dies." That was it. Line crossed. She wasn't just being annoying anymore. She was trespassing. I snapped a few photos, bagged the flowers, and dropped everything into a folder with all the voicemails, texts, and screenshots I'd been saving. Next morning, I called my lawyer buddy. Told him about the door-banging incident, the police already showing up, and now this stunt with the flowers. He didn't hesitate. Time to file a temporary restraining order. "She's escalating and you've got plenty of evidence. Judge will take one look at this and grant it." So that's exactly what I did. Walked into the courthouse with my file thick enough to be a college thesis, logs, screenshots, police report, photos of the flowers and note. The judge barely blinked. Temporary restraining order granted. Just like that, it was official. She was legally barred from contacting me, showing up at my house, or trying any more stunts. Word got back to her fast. Through mutual friends, I heard she lost it, ranting about how I overreacted and took it too far. But most people didn't buy it. After everything that had come out, Justin cheating, her begging me for money, her meltdown on my porch, nobody was lining up to defend her. Her family, the same people who once preached destiny at me, went radio silent. No more texts, no more sermons about God's plan. They disappeared from social media too, probably embarrassed that their fairy tale turned into a police blotter. Not long after, Mia told me she'd heard Chloe packed up and moved to Cincinnati for a fresh start. New job, new apartment, new city, basically starting from scratch because she burned through every bit of credibility here. Meanwhile, my life was only getting better, work was solid, I was leading my crew, training apprentices, and making more money than I ever had. The motorcycle in the garage? Finished, clean chrome, roaring engine, runs like a dream. Looking back, I realized Chloe did me the biggest favor of my life. She showed me exactly why I deserved better. She showed me that some people aren't looking for love, they're looking for a lifeboat, and I'm nobody's lifeboat. Filing that restraining order wasn't just about keeping her away. It was the final nail, the last reminder that I wasn't playing her game anymore. She wanted chaos. I wanted peace. And peace won, so yeah. 4 years ended with her crying about destiny and me walking away with a court order, a finished bike, and a woman who actually respects me. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's just building a life so solid the clowns can only watch from the outside.